Hello guys, this is Nick DeLeon from NickTube Studios, and today I will be reviewing, re-reviewing actually, the First Grade RX-78-2 Gundam. One thing. I earlier reviewed this kit about a year ago, and well, I didn't really like it. So, it's now time to do a re-review. It's been a year since I first got this kit, and really I was hoping this thing would last after an entire year, but it's actually very fragile now because it doesn't really use the same kind of plastic as polycaps do in a high-grade Universal Century. So like a lot of things kind of either vanished or got damaged on this kit, such as the V-fins. They were actually solid plastic, and both parts of the V-fin actually broke off, and I actually had to replace it with some like Band-Aid like paper for it. And especially with the beam sabers here, like I already lost like one of them and also lost the famous toothpick. And one thing I had to do to replace it was replace it with like parts of a Q-tips. That I didn't use them, of course. Well, really just for arts and crafts, not for cleaning my ears. I only lost one of them, surprisingly. The other one's actually the only original beam saber I have left is here. The toothpick I pretty much lost and split in half, so I couldn't fix and replace that. Well, actually, I mean, I did replace it with this Q-tip beam saber that I made out of, yeah, Q-tips. And then also in the hips, there was actually this one part that was really that really should have been made out of polycap like plastic, or even had polycaps at all. But it was like this simple axle that was made out of hard plastic, and it kind of broke within age. Like after 6 to 7 months since I had this kit, it broke off. So now inside there, I actually replaced it with thumbtacks. Actually, the only thing that really can give the leg some articulation is thumbtacks, and really giving it this weird shake here. And not only that, the left leg actually right now is fragile enough to where it can actually continuously fall off, so yeah, this guy's kind of dying. But anyways, instead of damages, let's get on to the review. For articulation, the head once again can turn 360. Like that. The beam sabers, well, they can actually come out, and they were on ball joints, but they never really were held by polycaps though. And that's a shame, because that's kind of the reason that a lot of my that the beam saber actually got missing at all was because of the lack of polycaps in the racks of the beam sabers. So in order to save them, well, at least one of the original ones was actually gluing them in with some tester's glue. So yeah, it's kind of falling apart. It's almost dying, basically. But I try to keep its life. I wanted to keep it around as much as possible. So that's why I don't really. So I really just only keep it there for display only now. Anyways, the shoulders can go 360. The arm can only bend not even 90 degrees. It can really bend only to about 45 degrees. The hands are pretty much pegs that you put in there. They spin 360. Yeah, they're really only pegs. They're not held by polycaps or anything. I mean, really, to give you an idea of this kit, it's pretty much pre-high-grade Universal Century, so it doesn't have the generous use of polycaps. Really, so one thing about this kit that's really true about it in particular is it's kind of like a a remake of the first high grades from 1980. So yeah, so it makes it a bit disappointing that they didn't incorporate new things to it. So it means like a lot of things. If you're gonna have like the very first RX-78 from 1980, the high grade, the articulation on this thing will be exactly the same as for this. So that means if you have this first grade kit of the RX-78-2, it's going to be exactly the same as the 1980 release RX-78-2 Gundam. So that means articulation will be the same. The hips, I'm only going to use the hip that actually can still stay in there. It can barely move because the skirt armor does not come out, so it can really only do slight kicking. The knees can bend at about a 90-degree angle, and the ankle here can go forward and can go tippy toes like this here, and then this is as far as it up as it can go. So really, there's a lot of sad things about this kit. A lot of parts went missing after a year. Like, really, for accessories, I only have right now is just my Q-tip beam saber, which is something that's bound to happen to your first grade kits if you don't take good care of them, as like I didn't. And then I have the shield. So I mean, really, a lot of parts could really use like PC plastic, like. And not only that, this could have really used some polycaps, which is a shame because this is the only model kit my only Gundam type model kit that I have. And it's the first one, and I really want to keep it around as much as possible, but it's going to be impossible to do because it's pretty much falling apart and close to dying, actually. Especially in the shield here, the handle here can't even stand there. I mean, it's really holding by tape, by scotch tape, actually. So it's really a shame to have this. I mean, it's kind of a shame to have this kit, but I really like it though because it's RX-78-2 Gundam, and it's the first one I ever had. Like here, I actually, like, one thing I did in terms of customizing it throughout the year was actually I had like all acrylic paints on this thing. That's what it has on there now, actually. Like, in the kit, I don't have the instructions anymore after a year. It said that I had to use like some kind of candy red. Yeah, like a candy kind of colors, like candy red and blue and yellow. I kind of did with the. I mean, one thing about me though is that I kind of did some. One thing about me when it comes to painting kits is I'm kind of a rebel with painting. So with the RX-78-2, I've given it like a glossy white acrylic paint, and really, yeah, I've been told they're crappy paints, but who cares? It's my kit, so I can do whatever I want with it. So yeah, it kind of makes a squeaky noise with the glossy white paint. So I use glossy white paint, and then I use like this mahogany red, or I like to call it blood red because it really looks like blood. And the yellow is actually really a bright yellow. And then not only that, with mechanical parts and especially the backpack on here, I actually painted it like a metallic black. Really just to give it a realistic like feel to it. And I haven't really repainted this kit since November, actually. I've finally gotten in some paint into the eyes here, like in the eyes I already have yellow paint, yellow, red, and black paints in there finally. So alright, let's try to wrap it up now with the verdict. Bad things. Lots of bad things about this kit. Like, the articulation really sucks on here, especially in vital parts in the hips. Like they could have really used, like I said, once again, they really could have used polycaps and more ball joints. But since this is really a revamp, it's kind of okay. So yeah, the articulation sucks. Really the durability on it's bad because it doesn't use polycap like plastic. Especially in vital parts like the V fins, and then the in order to control the hip joint and the leg joints in the hip here. And not only that, but like if you're gonna be like somebody who likes to pretty much well, really, I mean, even if you take good care of it, it's gonna probably only last you a year so far. I mean, this actually lasts me like a year and a day now. Which is kind of a shame. I really liked this kit to begin with, but it sure is falling apart, though. Yeah, it is a shame. So, not only that, when it comes to painting the kit and paneling it, well, I mean, maybe not paneling, but just painting in general, it's going to be impossible to paint in certain parts, like the eyes. Like, it took me a year to get in there, especially with the yellow paint, which is really done with an acrylic paint marker that I bought at Hobby Lobby. So it's not gonna do you any good trying to paint the eyes and really even the littlest details. I mean, panel lining was actually okay, but if you're gonna be using like a I don't know, regular ballpoint pen like I did, you're not gonna get in the panel lines do panel lining well. But I mean, somehow I managed to get by with that. Not only that, but with the hands here too, the handling on this kit actually isn't so good with holding a beam rifle and beam sabers. I mean, this kit actually did come with a beam rifle, but I've lost it now, so I don't know what the hell ever happened to it. I really wish I still had it to this day, or else it would have been a really nice part of the kit. So, what do you do? So, in general, how about good parts about the kit? Maybe that it's the Gundam. I mean, really, basically that. Wow, I can't really even think of good parts about this kit. I mean, well, for me, it's a good kit for me because it was the first one I ever got, and it was really an okay start, but in time, it didn't. It really can hardly hold itself anymore. Like polycaps could have been really vital to this kit. So, like, I mean, it's improved now with the high-grade Universal Century RX-78-2 Gundam, but with this kit, it really could have used like PC plastic, like soft polycap plastic. So really good parts is that it was the first kit I ever did, and really it's a good way to start customizing kits though. Like I could have actually like turned this into the G3 if I wanted to, but really it's more like a custom finish for me of the RX-78-2 Gundam. So yeah, and not only that, with the hands too, is that it can barely hold weapons so well. Like if I was to stick the shield here, it's gonna hold it like that. It's not anything that I've done. It was actually like that as early as when I first opened this kit. That's the bad part about it too, especially with this new beam saber I made for it. It can barely hold it. So really, I'm trying to keep. So really, this kit isn't a good kit. I mean, it's okay with with doing like full customizing, but it's not gonna last you good years. I mean, you'd have to keep it in like, you'd have to not like tip it over and whatnot in order to keep it in great condition. And really, I mean, I kind of really worn down now because really because of how I never really knew how to take care of Gundam model kits. So now it basically is only used for like aerial displays only, just so then it won't be tipped over by idiots like myself or by my own cats, because of their nature. They always like to cuddle on my desk for some reason. So yeah, that's the review for the RX-78-2 Gundam. You can buy it if you want, but it's not going to really guarantee you a year of life expectancy. I mean, if anything, if you're going to buy the kit, make sure you have ways to keep it alive as possible. Because if anything, this kit really won't last you long, like if you're going to do like ground poses. So 100% do aerial poses. Once again, I'm Nick DeLeon from NickTube Studios, and this is my review of the First Grade RX-78-2 Gundam.